Hello and welcome, Rahul. You're watching me on my YouTube channel, my talk show. And if you're watching me consistently, welcome back to my channel. I always come up with new ideas, and try to inform you of latest development. And I emphasize on different pillars of life because I know exactly that if you'll be improving, if you'll be keeping yourself updated, honing your skills and listening to those people, especially I will stress on that because it is important to hang on with better people, because if you want to learn something better, you have to have a better group of people who can make you understand, or whatever they are doing you can learn from them, because knowledge is contagious. That is what I tell you. Knowledge is contagious. When you invest your time in beautiful people around, you will be also educated automatically. You will learn, because learning comes from watching, because all of the senses that we have got, eyesight, hearing, smell, touch, and every senses that we have got, we try to assimilate certain experiences through that. That is what is the importance of our sensory organs. But many things have laws. Universe function on certain laws, and that is what we have to understand. Whatever sensory organs are depicting around, it is our environment that is feeding us. Wherever we are growing up, we are dependent on environment. It is giving us food, and whatever nourishment we are giving to our body, we are inhaling and exhaling oxygens and drinking waters, taking foods, it is doing nourishments. And knowledge is very subtle, which is your system is working on, which is trying to learn, and that is what is being assimilated to you. But many laws shape the functioning of these channels. These are the secrets that I'm going to tell you. Nobody will tell you. Everything that you consume, or everything that happens in your life, you will see that it is a coincidence. You will say, because first of all, whatever you have been given, the opportunity is given by the universe, and that is why you will see that you have been brought up in a situation where you had no control. You had taken a birth in a family where you had no control. But I would say that, think of it as it's a different system, which is going perpetually, and it has a better control. If I introduce a soul to your physical vessel, to your body, and if the soul goes on continuous experience, then the system changes. Then you include what? A better existence, a better coordinate, which goes beyond this life. You will say that it has a history of that, because your soul is coming from a different dimension. It has earlier existence. That is what you will tell. And that is why in this system, when you think subtly, when you have been bestowed knowledge, and you have been bestowed intelligence, and you use that intelligence, because spirit and all these realms knowledge are very subtle, and you have to use your intelligence, then only we can talk about intellectual and spiritual realm. Otherwise, there is no condition to talk about. And that is why hardcore people will not understand. Ever they will not understand, because it will take many cycles to achieve this kind of clarity. And that is why I talk about on those frequency, who are vibrating at higher frequency, then they can only understand what I'm talking about. So this is important to understand. And I do not see anything as coincidence. Many dynamic forces are shaping the outcomes of this universe. And if certain variables has control over the coordinates which is shaping this universe, your world, they can manipulate as they want. And that is what is happening. That is what is happening in the spiritual realm as well on this planet. When you will be awakened, you will see that. And they are doing as they want, because they have seen that fabrication, manipulation, and going with the darkness has the only opportunity to enhance the experience, to find copious amount of accessibility to hidden knowledge. And not only hidden knowledge, but accessibility to certain powers, which disclosing here won't be appropriate. I don't want to disclose here that kind of powers. But the manipulation factors still resides in their hands. And they're pulling the curtains because they have understood what is empowering them. Who are those invisible powers shaping their lives? They have gotten that. They have sticked to that nerves. But these are also transient. They do not understand the real nature of universe. Universe is very big, and the mainframe system has a different programming. If the real nodes will emerge, the programming, and the codes will be rewritten, and that will be against them. That is what they are afraid of. Why they are prohibiting all these nodes which are really real, which can impact and which can change their destiny, because they have control over 200 and 300, maybe more than 500 of years. Recently, more than 500 years, till existent time, contemporary time, till contemporary time. That is why today many peoples are being awakened, because something has shifted. Some peoples have awakened and they had certain powers. They have rewritten the codes. They have ignited the fire within many a soul and many a nodes that is changing the reality of this universe. The code are vibrating once again. That is why they are afraid of. I'm telling you, some people, they might be knowledgeable, because scientific knowledge is what? Bookish knowledge. If you go through the bookish knowledge, and thereafter you find that capability to use your cognitive and rational ability, once you will find enlightenment, a little bit of enlightenment, you will be able to interpret all the data quite effectively, and you will become that scientist also. It is not big thing, But once you compromise your ideologies with darkness because of certain gain, then you start doing manipulation. You start creating barriers to all the real nodes, to all the real souls. And that is what becomes your prime agenda. That is what has happened. Recent good peoples have, have gone behind. Because of them, they have stopped them. And they have gone into the positions. And they are nurturing the bad people. And they are stopping, they are creating trauma in the right people's node. But it is not something that you will understand. Until unless you don't become awake, you will not understand their reality. But they think that they are powerful. We have to make them naked. We have to show them their power. Because if their ideologies, if their doctrines, if the doctrines is not good, they are not going to sustain forever. And that is what is the reality of our planet. That is why they manufacture all these, false, and people have very, many people have very limited window of understanding. They look through a different lens. They are not so much awake. When they look at people with a different stature, they believe in them. They start following them. They start talking about them, their ideologies, their given dogmas. But all if that person, that noble person has compromised his ideologies, he can manipulate all these people, and that is what he is doing. That is what you have to recognize. Right now I'm telling you. So you have to come forward and you have to show your own power. Unless you don't educate people, some notes don't correct all these mistakes, don't come against them, how these programs will be rewritten against them, and once again it will be coherence, with the universal ideologies, mainframe system. Because I told you in my previous videos, if you'll watch, I have told you that universe plays with a different role. It shapes, it has in mind that it will generate every thought of yours, it will fulfill every desires of yours if you are connected to it. It works on frequency and vibrations. That is what is universe all about. And they have decoded it from a long time. That is why they have given the system, advanced system, to all these compromised people, because they have created a group. They have created a group and they want to sabotage all the real nodes. And that is why spiritual ascensions have halted on this planet. And many people, real nodes, when they get awakened, they are being suppressed, they are being targeted. delusional qualities, schizophrenic qualities, and all these ADSD qualities are not being developed as it is naturally. No, there are certain catalysts. These systems, these people, they are dominating. When you understand all this fabrication, which is really difficult to make you understand, but if you be awakened, you will see and realize all these things, all this drama, and unveiling and telling up all about it once won't be effective, because the system plays with different way. That is what you have to know. And everything is behind the curtain. It is not in front of everyone's eyes. Even many agencies don't know about it, but some agencies, exotic agencies, have understood that, and they have fabricated it, or they have compromised themselves with these systems. That is what is the reality. I don't want to reveal everything, but I want to tell you that be ready for each and every challenge. Make yourself competent enough that you can reclaim your memory, you can reclaim your destiny, and once you'll find your position and status, nobody can clinch you. They can do everything in their hand to stop you, but you have seen, in the end, the protagonist enters into darkness, and from there it brings light by exploding. But you won't have to explode all the time. Sometimes you can fall apart because you have got an experience in this life, and that is what will prevail. Because fabrication, the false system, has only control. They don't have that intrinsic power to run the mainframe, and that is why they are afraid. Once the mainframe will be written, their destiny will change, they will be punished, and that is what they are afraid of. But whatever they are doing from a long time, the fabrication, they deserve that punishment. I'm not asking for them, but I'm asking for you to protect your own soul, and that is what you have to do. This is a war, and in war, if you don't stand, you'll be crushed. That is the reality. Thank you for listening to me.